Toxic Holocaust, and we're going to start our interview. So, how is tour going so far?
So far, so good. We're about like a week and a half in, and it's great to touring with Guar again. We did it about 11 years ago, so it's cool to go back out with it.
Any favorite tour moments so far?
So far, it's probably been, well, we did a show in Chicago that was really, really good with Sacred Reich, and that show was just really crazy, and lots of people moving around stage diving, so that was definitely one of them so far. We're still early in, it's hard to say yet, but that was definitely a highlight.
So you're about to release a new album for the first time in a long time. How do you feel about it?
I'm excited. It's kind of funny. It did take a really long time to do, and to put one out, and it's exciting to get to do a lot more touring and get to see the world again. So,
do you have any favorite songs off of the new record?
I really like the song that we're going to be releasing next. It's called New World Beyond. That's going to be the third track on the record. I'm excited to start playing that one live too. We're not doing it on this tour, but we plan to start playing that one live. It's pretty fun.
Awesome. What are your biggest influences and inspirations for this album?
Mostly probably the same stuff that's always influenced me, like Bathory and Venom. Mm-hmm. But then with this one, I kind of was influenced a little bit more by like a little bit more reverby production, like 80s production. So I would say like 80s era Judas Priest, things like that.
Who did the artwork for your album?
It's a guy named Steve Crisp. He's from the UK, and he's done a lot of movie posters back in the 80s. And he's really good.
Awesome. So you've been doing Toxic since 1999. How have you noticed that your shows have changed over time?
People come to them now, which is good. Yeah, it's funny. It's hard to believe I've been doing this for 20 years. The shows I think are just, it's more consistent with our playing. Like back then we were really all over the place, and people come out now, so it's cool.
So you also have a lot of side projects. Is there one that you like or have a favorite or anything like that?
I would say the stuff I'm doing now, the more synth stuff, just under my name.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of a good release from, I can still be creative, and when you're tapped out on metal riffs and stuff, you can kind of do that. So.
Do you have any plans for future releases for any of your side projects?
Yeah, actually, I'm coming out with a new synth record soon. It's coming out on Death Waltz again, same album as Equinox, or same record label as Equinox, and yeah, it should be out, I would say maybe in a month, maybe a month and a half.
Awesome. So I've also noticed that you usually do all the instrumentals for your projects. When did you learn to play like every instrument, and what made you want to do that?
So I started out on drums like when I was pretty young, and so where I grew up, I couldn't really find other musicians to play the kind of stuff I wanted to play. So in order to do something like this, I kind of had to figure out how to play other things, to be able to actually write songs. It's really hard to write a thrash song with just drums.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I got to figure out how to play guitar. So that was a big reason why I started doing that. It just was a necessity because I didn't have a lot of people to pick from to play with.
Do you have a favorite instrument to play?
Probably guitar, but I play bass live because just logistically it made more sense for the way the lineup was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but guitar, I think, especially for writing, it's it feels more natural because that's how I've always I started like focusing more on guitar. So now, like, even though I started on drums, I feel like guitar is my instrument.
So you also master music on the side. Do you have like a favorite band or project that you've worked on doing that?
I'll talk about something I did recently that I'm really stoked on. It's there's a band called Take Offense that I just worked on. They're kind of like a crossover hardcore kind of band, and the new record's awesome. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Awesome. So also you probably collect music, I assume, since you're really into it. Do you have a favorite thing to collect? Tapes, cassettes, vinyl, or CDs?
Vinyl. Yeah. Still super into that. I got into that when I was younger because it was a thing where at that time CDs were still the most popular format, so I would buy records because I was broke and just a kid like trying to buy stuff, and I was like, cool, I get the artwork bigger and things like that, and then it just became an obsession, just because it's weird. Vinyl is a thing that they never stop making. You know, it's like all these different formats change over and things like that, but they keep making records.
I've got one more question for you. So, what are you passionate about outside of metal?
Jeez. You know, it's weird. I really like, I mean, nature stuff, I guess, but I don't know if that's like a passion, but it's a hobby to kind of break away from. I basically sit in a studio all the time, like, you know, either working on my own music or working with other bands. So it's nice to go out in nature and kind of have a complete opposite experience.
Well, thank you so much for doing this interview.
Thank you. Appreciate it.